Boom podcast with Billy Goff fighting this Friday night, Friday the 13th, Bellator 241 at Mohegan Sun. Big matchup. Billy, brother, welcome to the show, man. Pleasure as always to have you on and talk about your fights, man. What's going on?
Got a fight, like you said, Mohegan Sun, Friday the 13th, which is a great day, against Robson Gracie Jr. He's 3-0, so this is going to be a great fight.
3-0 with 3 submission wins, which a last name like that, of course, we're not going to, a lot of submissions are going to be in that name. But we're going to talk a little bit about you before this matchup, brother. Coming off a Cage Titans fight where first round you had a cut, doctor stoppage, man. Let's talk about a little bit about that fight, how you felt in there before it ended the way it did.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't win that round by any means. I got hit more than I hit him, and I got cut. So hats off to him for that cut. But I didn't, like, for that fight and the previous one, I haven't been as focused as I needed to be on myself and training and where I want to go with myself. And that's due to some things within myself and some things outside of myself in my life that I've been letting go on. So now I've refocused myself and recentered, and now I'm on the right path again, and I feel amazing. I feel a lot better in a much better headspace. So I feel like that was a big contributor to how I performed recently. I can't chalk it up to all of that because obviously part of it's on me. But other than that, I wasn't happy with my performance in that fight because I lost that round. Hence, like I did. I just wasn't happy. I mean, I still had cardio. I wasn't happy that they're in the fight because I always have a chance with cardio. But other than that, I was upset with why they called the cut. They said there was my bone was exposed, and that could cause a bone infection. So when I went and got my stitches done, the nurse had said that my skull wasn't exposed. So I was like, what? That doesn't, like, I shouldn't have called it. But she had said that there was an artery and a vein exposed. And if that had popped, I could have been going to trauma surgery. It could have been a lot worse. So all in all, it's kind of good that they did.
How'd this fight come about? I mean, your whole career, a long career, you're only 21 years old. You've held amateur titles. You had a very successful amateur career. You fought 4 times as a pro in 2019. And now that's your 5th fight in, 13 months or so, man. How you feeling about this journey of yours, man? Right out of the gate, there's no stopping you. And you probably would have got a fight or 2 in before this fight if, you didn't have that cut. Man, what's going on? What's going on with you, man?
I had there was another fight that I had to pull out of because of that cut. I already had one set against someone at Mohegan the next month. And that cut made me pull out. So this is actually, I think this has been my longest break without a fight for a while. But now, I mean, I love going back to back to back. I don't like to wait around for fights too long. It puts a lot of pressure on, like, ring rust. But I feel like as long as I'm fortunate enough not to get injured, then I can just keep going. So.
Well, the time off, I'm sure it did you well as far as, healing up. You were on a tear, brother, for, these 2 years from your amateur career up until, your pro career now. You had no stopping. So I think this is probably, something good for you. What have you been doing with the time off? I mean, this fight has only been, scheduled and signed for, a little over a month. You had a few months to really sharpen things up and wait it out to see what your next opportunity is. What have you been doing in this training camp? What have you been adding? What's been going on this whole time?
There's been a huge push from within myself to do the right things for myself outside of fighting as well. Especially because the mental game of fighting is a huge aspect when you step in that cage. If you're not ready for that, if you're worried about other things, if you're not 100% focused all the time on fighting, then it's going to impair how you do. So I've really been situating myself in outside of the cage to do that for myself. And on top of that, I've just been revisiting what I was doing well in amateur, which was my wrestling. I wasn't like I haven't wrestled really at all. I don't think I've shot one takedown as a pro really. I haven't done too much wrestling. It's all just been striking. Um, and I'm revisiting that. Like that's gonna be the biggest thing for this fight is I'm gonna out wrestle the grappling and then submit him.
Well, it's going to be the name and his record and what he's done. I mean, 3 fights for Bellator. He's not as active as you. He didn't have an amateur career. He came right out of the gates as pro, won his first 3 fights. But, been sporadically. He's like every 6 months, every 5 to 6 months he's been fighting. So, I mean, I would have to say the experience is going to you as far as cage time. You spent a lot of time in that cage. What are you thinking about this fight, and how did this matchup come about? I mean, like, was his name thrown at you, or I mean, you going in there, Billy? I mean, you're a young dude. Are they thinking, hey, they're going to give him a young guy to kind of, since he's on a big fighting streak, and he's kind of a Bellator guy? You think they're underestimating you?
I'm definitely the underdog in the situation. Mainly, like, especially since as an amateur I was put out twice. That definitely affected the decision, I would assume. And if you even looked at my reality fight in June, just this past June, I got taken down. So that still looks as if his game is going to work against me. So I completely understand why I was offered up. But I think he's taking steps since he didn't have an amateur career. It would be unwise of him to jump right into fighting somebody that's 6-0 and trying to work up to a contract. So he's taking the right steps to build up his record the proper way and get because you need experience before you take on bigger sharks. And so but I definitely am the underdog in this situation. I think with his track record, they're expecting a submission from him, a submission run.
Well, you talked about your wrestling, and before this question, you talked about that you're gonna basically, submit him. What are you expecting to happen in there? I mean, do you think do you expect him to shoot right away? And I would imagine you're prepared for that, but you got a Gracie coming after you with 3 submissions. What's going through your mind here? Is like keep it on the feet, try to clip him, or like you said, use your wrestling and out wrestle the grappler.
I'm not afraid whatsoever. We can start on the ground if you want. Like, it doesn't bother me. Because I know, like, I'm not a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I don't have phenomenal submissions. I'm good at a couple of them, and if I get them, I'm gonna put them out with them. But my biggest thing is positioning and defending submissions. That's what I've always worked on. That's what my coach is always geared towards because that's better for MMA. So I'm not worried about defending a submission. Worst case scenario, you catch me in something, I can still fight out of it. Worst case scenario, you break something or I go to sleep. It's not the end of the world. So there's no real reason to be afraid of it because I've been there before. And I've faced the outcome before. At worst, it's not going to end my career. So I have nothing to lose here. And I'm just going to give it everything I got. And I think he's gone past the first round once. I'm sure he's got good cardio on the ground. But I believe I have more cage time in one fight in my 25-minute fight with Cameron than he does out of all 3 of them. So I have the cardio. I can go, and I'm going to do the right things. And I just need to be smart. And when I get into those positions, to do the right things and don't overextend myself and all the little things that matter.
What is your future in 2020? How busy are you looking to stay? Are you looking to keep the grind going like you have been in the past, or are you gonna pick and choose your battles after this fight?
Depending on how this sets me up, how I do, and because he's got a lot of people watching him. So in that moment, this is a great opportunity to have a lot of people watching me. And if I do well enough, even if I win, I have to win well enough to make people want to keep watching me, and people keep an eye on me, and then the next fight matters even more. And whichever way it goes, I'm gonna get eyes on me. So as long as I do as well as I can, I'm gonna have eyes watching me. And like someone had asked me if this would lead to a contract with Bellator, possibly Contender Series or something. And I mean, obviously, I would love that. I don't see that happening. I don't see it if this puts me in a position, but I feel that this could potentially put me in the position for an opportunity to get into that. To where the next fight, if I win that, then I'll get something.
No rush, man. You're 21. So
yeah, I've got at least another 18, 19 years.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, I probably won't be on this earth while in 18 years, but my kids will be watching you. But anyway, Billy,
Yeah.
dude, Friday the 13th, Bellator 241. You're no stranger to the Mohegan Sun Arena there. What do you got coming, man? You might be the underdog as far as record-wise in Bellator's eyes, but you're going to be the star there because that is your crowd. What are you bringing there? Who's coming with Billy Goff on the 13th?
I just actually, I have a good chunk of my family going. A lot of my friends, a lot of people who just hit me up. Hey, I want tickets. I've been selling, like, just people at work. So I've been selling as much as I can. I think I just sold the last of my 100 tickets today. They're all in one section, so it's going to be nice and loud right there. But there's other people watching at home too. I have people my family down south is watching, and I live 30 minutes from the casino. This is my home,
So that place is going to be rocking Friday night for New England, and a bunch of our fighters going to war. So, Billy, last thing, social media. I think you got 24 hours or less to sell tickets, and that's it, man. You got weigh-ins in another day. Shout out anything you want to shout out, sponsors, gyms, training partners, and then social media, and I'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, I've been, if you can follow me on Instagram at William with a B, Goff, Goff, or on Facebook, just Billy Goff. I have my own fight page. My gym's team, like their page is the Rough House, Team Dexter Valley Tudo on Facebook. And I have some teammates. I have Austin Shala on Instagram, my buddy Mike on Instagram as well, and my buddy Jake as well on Instagram, and they're all my followers as well. We're all working towards something, so if you guys can give them a follow me. But if you buy a ticket online just to support, you can't even go, I appreciate that. If anybody's watching at home, I appreciate it. So
good luck, man, and we'll see you Friday night at Bellator 241.
Awesome, have a good night.